Get Wrecked crew. So last night I stayed in a little spot where there are bears, little black bears in Florida. So I had to send all my food up this tree, mine and Dan's food. He's the one filming right now. So we're getting it down nice and early this morning so we can head out. If you're in an area with bears, I would recommend you do the same thing so you don't draw them to your campsite. That's never a good idea.
Oh,
anyway, yeah. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Love you. See you later. All right, so it's 9 a.m. here in Lanark Village, Florida. We're going to try to make St. Mark's. It's a city about 35 miles away. And try to make St. Mark's this afternoon. It's part of the Tallahassee metropolitan area, so I will be a little bit closer to my goal of making it to Tallahassee, which is going to be great. I get to hopefully visit the Haven of Rest, which was a place that I stayed while I was homeless. I actually went through their program for a little bit. It's really more of like a boarding house, so I kind of made some steps through that program back in the 06-07 days. Anyway, just packed up camp. Me and Dan are about to hit the road again, and so I just wanted to give you guys an update, and as usual, tell you that I love you, and I'll see you later. All right, so just pulled up to Wakulla in the city of Crawfordville. There was a great little bike trail that went from Medart, and I assume that it's going to St. Mark State Park where we're going to. So I hope that it does, because it's a beautiful little trail. Anyway, so we get here to a gas station in Crawfordville, and we're inside just, you know, getting our lunch together. And this couple pulls up on bicycles, and they're just kind of touring. They're driving from one city to the next, and they start putting it together. They're like, we saw your cat litter buckets. They said, we saw you in Apalachicola. They said that we saw you, you know, just down the street. And so I was able to kind of tell them about the ministry that I'm doing. And the guy looked at my shirt, which says cross. It's got cross and it's got fit in the middle of it, so CrossFit. And he said, man, and I love that you're doing it for the Lord. And I said, yeah, there's really no other reason to do it, you know. And so we had a brief conversation, and I get to the register to buy my lunch, and he paid for my lunch. So thank you so very much. I know that you're looking up YouTube, Redeeming Eden. Subscribe, share this with your friends. And man, I'm so thankful for you. Thank you so much for providing my lunch today. And I look forward to having a friendship with you on Facebook as well. Anyway, so what I got for lunch is 3 mozzarella sticks, 3 jalapeno poppers, 3 chicken tenders, some ranch, some marinara sauce, good old TGI Fridays cheddar and bacon potato skins, and a really dented up body armor. Dan, he's got a corn dog, fish, and fried okra.
Oh, yeah.
The New Yorker's eating some fried okra down here with us. He says he loves it. So anyway, that's it for now. I'm super excited. Again, my food was provided. I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for you guys, and most of all, y'all know I'm thankful to God. He's the one who's providing it through you, but I'm thankful for you too.
Thank the Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
See you guys in a little bit, and I love you. All right, so as I've been talking with Dan over these last couple of days, which has been a wonderful thing to enjoy some time out here on the trail with him, you know, tomorrow is actually the last day that we're going to be together. He's going east, and I'm going to go north. He's headed to Walt Disney World from New Orleans. I'm headed, of course, from Mobile, Alabama to Key West, but I'm going to go by way of Tallahassee and Ponte Vedra, Florida. Either way, Dan has had an interesting life. He's had an awesome military career, which he retired from. Then as he's been in retirement, he's moved on into the YMCA, and they've started a Live Strong program. He's also had issues with addictions in his past. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Dan tonight and kind of hear a little bit about some of the things that he's gone through with his own personal walk and his own personal struggles with addiction, and also a big part of this with Live Strong, where he's helping these cancer patients out. So here's Dan.
How you doing? Dan Lynch from Saratoga Springs, New York.
I was in the military for 24 years. The first 4 years were Navy. I got out. I wasn't quite happy being a civilian, so I went in the Army. Did a couple of years of active duty in the Army, and then I went back into reserve status. But all total, it was 24 years. And I would do it all over again, but I would do things differently. With years of being in the service and opportunities to have drugs and alcohol, it became very easy to get a hold of them, and it became a way of dealing with the boredom. A lot of guys, GIs, get into it because they're bored, and they're looking to get a high and get away from the moment of being, you know, overseas, stuck at some place where they don't want to be. So it was easy to do it, and pretty soon it became, you know, a habit. It was a habit that I needed to get rid of, but I just didn't have the courage to do it. And it made me realize that it was something I could give up if I had the help.
Okay.
And if I took advantage of picking up the phone and making phone calls. If I stayed around healthy people.
Right.
And focused on my time on healthy things. And my mother used to have this old saying that the idle hands were the devil's playmate.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I stopped being, you know, spending idle time, but doing more industrious things, you know, working on things, projects, helping people, riding my bike. When I was a kid, Jesus was introduced to me. As I got a little bit older, I got more away from the Catholic religion and kind of let Jesus slide. I just let it, because I didn't pay much attention to it, because I was doing other things. You know, Sunday morning would then be, oh, let's go skiing. But I never left the fact that God was always there. You know, I always knew there was a God. I always felt that there was a purpose for being here. It wasn't until just recently that I started feeling that the Son of God was a very important part of should be a more and more part of my life. So I started looking at it a little bit more and questioning, you know. And this trip, this ride across the southern states has really been an eye-opening moment. The people, the conversations, you know, with people we meet every day. I call them trail angels. You know, people out of the blue helping you out. Like that time I was coming out of Pascagoula. I pulled into church, and the people opened up their arms and said, "Come on in, get dried off, eat food, and have fellowship with us." And that's when I started to really feel that, and these people were all about Jesus. They talked, they walked the talk. Let's put it that way. They invited me in, open arms, sopping wet. Come on in, dry off, eat, enjoy the fellowship of other people.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
And so you got to experience that at Apalachicola First Baptist the other morning, too.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, that was very intense. Walked in the door, and as soon as I walked in the door, I gave my name, Brother Dan. You're welcome here. Anything you need. It was like, oh, well, I'm too late for breakfast, but just being here and listening to the pastor and what his words were really instrumental. Being in the military also made me a little bit more health conscious. I started thinking about, because we had a train to stay in the reserves. If you didn't, they washed you out. So I started in running. I started doing more push-ups and sit-ups. We started looking to win the E flag. Each month they had a contest to win the E flag, which was the exercise or the efficiency flag for our platoon. So push-ups, sit-ups. I'm 70 years old and I can still do push-ups. I can still ride 100 miles in a day if I have to. But it just started me thinking, being more healthy, and I started getting away from the drugs.
Right.
The over drinking. Of course, the AA helped me get a good handle on that too. The YMCA, one of our directors brought this to our attention. This was a program run through the Livestrong organization, and the instructors there embraced it. We thought this is what our community needed, so we did a big push to get people in the YMCA to start voting for it, because it was a thing that they were going to put it in 1 or 2 locations in New York State. So we wanted it in our area, in Saratoga Springs. So we pushed for it. We got members to vote for it, and we went online and we had a big campaign, and they gave us the nod. So we've had the Live Strong program there for 12 years now. What it does for the clients or members is that it allows them to come in and be with other people that are going through some type of cancer. So it doesn't matter if you've got skin cancer, ovarian cancer, any blood disorder, cancers, you name it, whatever cancer you have, you can sign up, and it's free. So if a person can't afford it, we don't charge them anything. We don't ask them for their financial status. So you could be a millionaire, or you could be on welfare, or on Medicare or Medicaid, and still get into the program. And you can bring in 4 people as support members in your family. So it's a 14-week program. So it's a little bit of mostly stretching, which I teach the yoga section of it, a little bit of weightlifting, spinning on cycling, and stationary bikes, all sorts of good Zumba, stuff like that. And probably the biggest part of it, Adam, is the community part. It's allowing them to be in touch with other people that are going through the same stage in your life. And we've had kids as young as 15 in the class, and we've had people as old as 85.
Wow.
Everybody in between. But it allows them to not sit at home and be alone. It allows them to come in and be part of the community. Eventually, after their 14 weeks are up, then they can transition into becoming full-time members of the Y. But 85% of them make that transition from the Live Strong program to become regular members. Very good, yeah. Very high retention or transition.
The YMCA is certainly blessed to have you. They're certainly blessed to have Live Strong. And man, it's been wonderful to hear about that tonight.
With the Live Strong program, it's a blessing, And I knew when we were pushing for it that I knew that it was going to be good for our community, and it's really been awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. Thanks for the conversation, Dan.
My pleasure, Adam. Thanks for asking.
Love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
Okay, so so we made it to St. Mark's. Well, St. Mark's is 3 miles away, but where we actually made it to, and why I wanted to record a quick video, is I made it to my very first rail trail. This is the St. Mark's Historical Railroad State Trail. Now this trail is going to go north and south from St. Mark's, Florida, up to Tallahassee. And so I'm going to end up taking this when I leave tomorrow. Dan and I will separate. He's going to go east, and I'm going to go north up this railroad trail. But I just wanted to show you guys quickly kind of what it's like. Hey, Dan. So it's just an old railroad bed that was pulled up. It's very level, and it goes a very long way in both directions. And so it's where trains used to go, so the grade is not too steep, just a straight, flat, long, narrow path. And I think it's a wonderful idea to be on a nice, narrow path, especially at this point in my journey. So, either way, we're gonna go ahead and head south to St. Mark's, and as usual, all right, so we just came here to San Marcos de Apalache Historic State Park. Essentially, it's where they used to unload items in the St. Mark area before the railroad came all the way down to the water. But then the railroad ended up coming all the way down to the water. And so this was a fort for a little while. I found a geocache totally by accident. So I was just looking at that cannon, and I looked down, and I saw the geocache. And me and Brandon Westcott, the guy I talked to the other day on the phone, we used to geocache a lot, often. So it was neat to find it. I swapped out like a little portable phone stand for another sticker for my bike, which I'm gonna put on in 2 seconds. Love you guys, see you later. All right, so as you can see, we've got camp set up for the night. This is the last night that me and Dan will actually be together on this journey. Tomorrow morning, he's going to leave and go east. We are directly across the street, however, from the road that goes to the St. Mark's Lighthouse. And they're only open on Tuesdays for tours. Since I'll be here on a Tuesday for a tour, I think that's where I'm going to go first thing tomorrow. The tour starts at 11, so I'll be there at 11, Lord willing. And then I'll come back up, and it's not very far to Tallahassee from here at all. So I'll be able to make it into Tallahassee and go talk to the Haven Arrest tomorrow afternoon. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, it's been a really good day today. I've enjoyed everything that's happened today. Had some really good talks with Dan. Met some wonderful people again. And so just getting ready to close it out for the night, edit this video, and get it up so you guys can watch it. As usual, I love you guys. I'll see you later.